States 9:05, 9:10 Eldred, and then we're looking at Walton at 9:14. So these are the areas that we're going to continue to watch as this line of storms continues to make its way through northern portions of the Treasure Coast. And then we also have some gusty storms that are pushing through Indiantown and into Stewart and Hope Sound. So surrounding that severe that tornado warning is a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is going to continue for the next half hour. So we have a lot of activity up along the Treasure Coast that we have this tornado warning continue to make its way through. So one of the things that we're going to continue to see is that with this storm system, this has a pretty good lift in it as well, because I've been tracking this and watching this. Actually, I went on Facebook Live just to start talking about it, because I was kind of looking at that rotation saying, we might get a little bit of a rotation. This could pop something off. And lo and behold, it did. And it looks like we're good. If you could, Charlotte, you could also update on the web if you can get it out there. It's already out there. Okay, great. Thank you. And then so what we're going to continue to see is this activity firing off as this line pushes through the area. And what we're looking at, as I go into a 3D mode, I'm going to slice through this storm, and we're going to take a look at where that potential rotation is and those cloud tops. So we've been seeing this activity moving through the area. Now, the cloud tops haven't been super high. As we look at a 3D motion here, you can see the cloud heights here as we're looking at where this tornado is. You get some rotation with that inflow. We have that very warm air. Earlier today, we had a little sun trying to break through, but it was mostly cloudy. But we had those strong winds coming up out of the south, and with those strong winds, what we see is a very strong uplift. When you have the cold front slicing through that, you're getting a little bit of a mixing, this little circulating air that's up aloft, and you can get tornadic activity. So there's a high potential for that in some areas. So we're getting that southerly flow of that warm, moist air hitting that cooler, drier air along the cold front, and that's what we're seeing at this time. Yes.
There's rotational signatures above the cell.
Okay.
And so, yeah, just look like at velocity.
Okay, so we're seeing some rotation above the cell. Charlotte, meteorologist Charlotte Carl, our new meteorologist, is updating. We're getting the latest information. So once again, we're seeing the cloud tops going up to about 30 to 35,000 feet in this storm. So we're going to continue to track, once again, a tornado warning at this time, and it's just the latest guide. You can see it flashing there, so more updated information coming in, making its way along the A1A, along the the A1A, I-95, Route 1. If you're anywhere in those areas around Indian River Estates, Fort Pierce, you have an active tornado warning for your area. Port St. Lucie, northern areas of that area, you have a tornado warning until 9:15 for about another 13 minutes as this storm continues to move to the east. As it does so, we can see strong winds, gusty winds, heavy downpours of rain, a lot of frequent lightning. And as this line of storms pushes through, we still have more activity coming across the lake. Just west of Belle Glade, there's a nice line of thunderstorms heading your way, so be ready for that. Pahokee, you have some heavy rain your way, but we still have more activity that's going to be pushing in, and got to kind of keep an eye out to see if we have any warnings on that. So once again, online here, we have a lot of folks following us on Facebook right now, on CBS 12 Facebook. You can follow that. If you don't have a signal on television, you can watch us online as we continue to track this. And you can download our app, our Storm Track Weather app, and you get all the latest updates and alerts. So if you're asleep, that alert will go off, and it'll wake you up so you can take the steps that you need to be safe. So once again, topping it off, we're looking at a tornado warning until 9:15 p.m. for St. Lucie County, affecting Fort Pierce, Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, as the storm line continues to push to the east. So what we're looking here as we continue to track that heavy line of storms, there's still a few little trailing storms back to the west, just near Tampa and Fort Myers. Those are going to have less impact. It's this initial line that's coming into contact with all that warm, moist air that's coming up out of the south. And we've seen that warm, moist air coming up, and it's been that flow that's been coming up out of the south, and it's meeting this crosswind. And when you get that crosswind, you get what's happening, some rotation cells that can occur right in between. So that's what you're seeing in these areas, and that's going to continue to create a lot of instability in the atmosphere. So that's one of the things that we've been seeing out there throughout the day, and it looks like that's what we're experiencing, and it looks like we're going to continue to see that as far as severe weather potentials as we go through the evening. So taking a look at, once again, what we're seeing, we had a tornado watch watch until 11 o'clock for our area. That was issued from the National Weather Service out of Miami, and that reason being is because of the potential of that rotating air over our state, and especially central and southern portions of Florida. So right now you can see we have that tornado watch for Palm Beach County, Martin County, and areas north up around Okeechobee County, Indian River County, and St. Lucie County until 11 p.m. And then we're looking at the potential for tornadoes across the area. So right now we do have the active tornado warning for St. Lucie County until 9:15 p.m. as we can see this activity moving in. If you live in those areas, make sure you take shelter away from exterior windows and walls. Make sure you either a bathroom, you can get in a bathtub, you don't want to be by windows that can break if there is an active tornado on the ground, because what happens is a tornado can rip things up, whether it be nails, wood, sticks, bricks, whatever, and it can make it into missiles and launch them as they go out. So it looks like definitely we're going to continue to see that activity out there. Yes?
Can I take Max 2 on the wall? I have velocity.
Okay. So once again, we are going to continue to see this activity firing up across the area, and we're looking at the severe weather that's going to continue to push through. So we're looking at these storms that are going to continue to make its way through, and I'm going to pitch it over to Charlotte. Charlotte, this is our new meteorologist in Charlotte. Tell us about that storm line that's coming through that you see.
Off with some radar right here. Can we key up Max 2? Yeah, perfect. So this is that line of storms that Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed has been talking about, indicating rotation on this radar right now. I want to zoom in. We have some other cells that we're monitoring moving into Palm Beach County right now as we speak. Now we're keeping our eyes on these. Nothing to worry about right now. We're just keeping our eyes on them, monitoring them as they progress, because these are looking very similar to how the cells looked when they moved into St. Lucie County. All right, here we go. So I want to zoom in and I want to pull up a new product. This is our velocity, or our storm relative velocity. This just indicates winds coming to and going away from the radar. So I'm going to zoom in on this tornado warning. Generally what we look for when we see tornado warnings issued is a couplet or two colors right next to each other. That indicates that there's rotation. That indicates that there is wind going from one way to the other, which is how tornadoes work. They rotate counterclockwise. So we see this right here on US 1 moving across US 1 down to A1A as we speak. It's moving at about 40 miles an hour northeast. So if you are anywhere in this track or along these beaches, Fort Pierce, headed to the northeast, just make sure that you are staying aware, because this storm is moving towards you and it is moving fast. It's moving at about 40 miles an hour. That was the most recent update from the National Weather Service. Now I'm going to bring it back over to Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed to continue talking about our tornado safety tips.
Yeah, and so if you are anywhere in the path of that storm, thank you, Charlotte. It looks like, once again, you want to make sure you seek shelter immediately. Get to the lowest level of your area. That means there's no basements in Florida, so that means an interior portion of your house. That means staying away from windows, interior room, a closet. Get under a sturdy object, and you want to make sure you do that, because the concern is if there is something touching down, you want to make sure you put the most walls between you and the exterior of your house. So once again, what's been driving this is a very strong cold front, which we've expected to see, that fired up the winds throughout the day, created a lot of severe weather situations across parts of North Florida, and it looks like we're going to continue to see that be the case here. That's why we have that tornado warning in effect until 9:15 as that continues to push through. That line is going to continue to move to the east, and as we see, there is some rotation in that storm cell, and you can see right up in this area crossing the A1A, we're looking at that potential for that rotation. So that is one of the things that I'm tracking at this moment as we continue to see right up in this region here, moving along the A1A, out here along the coastal regions, also the interior regions once you cross over towards Fort Pierce, as well as Indian River and States. This is the area I have the most concern with as that continues to make its way to the east at about 40. And it looks like this will continue to have that warning pegged on it until 9:15. And there's still more activity down to the south, moving across Lake Okeechobee and moving into western portions of Palm Beach County. That could give us the chance for some severe weather. So that is what we're watching very closely. And we could see that we're looking at velocity, this velocity mode, which we were talking about. This is the area. Velocity means that we're looking at those raindrops going towards or away from the radar, and that's what Doppler radar does, and that's what we're looking at with this area right here, just east of Indian River Estates, showing a pretty good signature that is going to continue to move to the east. And as it does so, it'll get out over the water and most likely become a water spout. But nonetheless, as it's over land, that means we are probably seeing something, either a funnel cloud or it's touching down, and that's just something that we have to watch very closely as this storm continues to move to the east. But definitely, we're looking at the areas over towards River Park. We can zoom in a little more. I'm going to give you a little closer look at these areas that are involved up here. We're looking at Eldred as well as Indian River Estates, just east of the Route 1. You see 707, Route 707 along the coast there, Sunset Boulevard, if you're in that area, as well as Southeast Walton Road, you are in the thick of it right now as that storm continues to move to the east. So definitely we're going to continue to track this very closely as we're looking at that rotation that's showing a pretty decent signature right there as it continues to move to the east. Sometimes you get a little light signature, a heavier signature. Charlotte mentioned earlier talking about a couplet. Generally, that means that you have on radar, you're seeing that rotation, one being brighter color like a greenish red or a red, or then the other side is going to be more of a green. If they're really close together, that shows these two forces are working opposite each other, and that shows rotation, and that's what we have going on out there. So once again, we're taking a look at some heavy rainfall coming down, lots of lightning and thunder, but you should be in a safe place away from exterior walls and windows as we have a tornado warning until 9:15 for about another 4 minutes for St. Lucie County. As the time is taking it out with the latest swipe, it's showing it just east of the A1A, making its way off the beaches. But nonetheless, we'll see it make its way out over the water, and it looks like this will continue to make its way out into the Atlantic. But it's definitely going to be coming down heavy rainfall. They will allow for this tornado warning to expire once it pushes through, and this is something that we are watching closely. So we're going to continue to track this this storm line as it continues to make its way through the area. Charlotte, you're talking about something else here.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, again, bring up that cell one more time. Graphics are updating as we speak. So that cell is moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour. That is what the most recent update from the National Weather Service has it at. So we still have that rotation within that storm cell. Zooming back in over on this velocity image, you still see that couplet. Indian River Estates and Hutchinson Islands, y'all are the next one in the line. About 9:13 for Indian River Estates, right before this is set to expire. So make sure you are still staying aware even through this expiration, because it will move offshore, and it's likely that you're still going to be receiving strong downpours and even some strong wind gusts behind this tornado. So we don't think that there is any likelihood that anything is going to happen in this area following this tornado, because this line of storms is moving offshore. But we do think that everyone south and southwest of this needs to be paying attention, because this is the same line of storms that you are going to be receiving come the next hour or so. So just be sure, again, Indian River Estates, Hutchinson Island, about 9:13, 9:15, this is when it's heading towards you, and that's when the warning is also set to expire. So just be prepared when it comes to that. Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed is going to return to our radar image and just break that down further for y'all.
Thank you, Charlotte. And once again, folks, we just have a couple more minutes on this tornado warning in St. Lucie County. That's going to carry us through the timestamp here. But do you see that diagonal line of storms that's moving through Martin County over through Indiantown right now? Stewart, Hope Sound, you're next in line to get some gusty storms. So we're still not out of the woods as we go through the evening. As I follow that line down, look at Belle Glade. You also have some heavy rain, and then to the western portions of Palm Beach County. And we've seen a lot of activity across the area, as far as we've seen reports of heavy, strong wind from the storm reports that we've seen across Palm Beach County. You can see heavy wind and a tornado reporting over towards just southwest of Tampa near Clearwater. There was also some tornado reports over near Orlando, up near Jacksonville. This entire line had the most activity, where we saw significant damage up towards Panama City. That was earlier today, and there's been a lot of talk about that. We've showed video of that, of what was caused from this line of storms as it moves through. So once again, we are tracking this current tornado warning that is about to expire over in St. Lucie County until 9:15, about a minute left as this circulation moves offshore. I'll go to the velocity mode real quick, and you can see most of that activity has moved just off the east of the A1A 1A. So it looks like this storm will continue to make its way out over the Atlantic, as you can see the latest imagery here, and it looks like the tornado warning has expired. So we're still left with a severe thunderstorm warning. Now that's going to continue to last until about 7 o'clock, or excuse me, about 9:30. So it looks like we're going to continue to see that until about 9:30 as far as our severe thunderstorm warning for St. Lucie County and northern Martin County. So we will continue to track this activity. If we have any more tornadic activity, we'll make sure we break into your programming and track it for you and give you the latest updates. But stay alert, stay aware, keep that phone nearby as far as staying alert to when these storms are issued. Your alarms will go off and we'll be on air to cover them and track them. Back to your regular scheduled programming.